What's up, guys? Got a new project going on right now. I thought I'd share it with you. This is my... Oh, for God's sakes, got the phone ringing. Might be that chick. This is my work van here. It's an old Chevrolet 1500 Express. Also, I currently live inside the van. I know what you're thinking. What a loser, living in a van. But it's really not that bad. A lot of people have asked how I did the seat mounts in the John boat and also mounted the trolling motor. What did I use? Rivets or nuts and bolts? Because it kind of looks like I was using a rivet gun in that video, but it's actually a Rivnut tool, and I had never heard of it, but a friend of mine let me use one that he had, and it works great. And I'd really recommend using it. So anytime you need to use anchor something down where you can't really have access to underneath to get a nut on it, on a bolt or something, Rivnut tools are great. And that's what I'm going to use to mount this hose reel. I've got it in there already with Rivnuts, but I'll take you back here back in time and show you how I put it in there, and hopefully it'll help you if you're trying to do that, something like that too. Okay, Rivet Nut thread inserts. I think it's all the same kind of thing, but I've heard it called a lot of different stuff. This is what I'm using right here. This one's called a Rivet Nut setter. That's the stuff right there. I don't know. This one's really good. These are Rivnuts right here. This is a little brass one or some kind of material. And I've mounted it. I've installed a couple of them already. You drill a hole. I've drilled a ton of holes in this van over the years, but I drilled holes for where I want the hose reel to go. And you basically, what these things do the reason why they're like rivets is they go down below or through the surface you're trying to attach something to, and then you basically compress this thing, and the bottom of it gets wider than the hole, so it can't leave the hole. It's stuck in the hole real tight like a rivet is. And then it also has a threading in there, so you can screw a bolt in there, so it acts like a nut. It's an anchor nut, Rivnut. That's what they call it, a Rivnut. So if that makes sense, it's hard to explain, but it's like a rivet, cross between a rivet and an actual nut. So, and they're great. You can screw something in there real tight. Those seat mounts are solid. The trolling motor is solid on the boat, and hopefully this will be solid too. But they're good for any time you don't have access to underneath. Like I could technically, use a nut and bolt, traditionally nut and bolt on this thing. You can get underneath the van, but I'm just going to use them because they're easy. They really are easy, and they look clean. They're flush. All right, so here's the hole I drilled earlier, and what you do. It's hard for me to explain how this works in words, but I can show you. So you basically put it in there, and you want to get this. The gun itself has some play in it, so you need to adjust where you want it. But basically, you get it where you can. So you gotta loosen it a little bit. You just want to be able to crush this, compress thing. See how it compresses? Now that rod is being pulled back. It's screwed into the threads, and when you clamp down on this thing, it draws it crushes that Rivnut together and widens it out. I'm going to tighten it a little bit and try to crush it again. Well, see, here's the thing, I just don't know. There we go. And that should be about all it'll go. No, just unscrew it out of there, and it's tight. It's awesome. It doesn't turn, doesn't come out. It's really awesome. So we'll do one more. Here, let me just. I'll try to. Like I said, it's just hard to get the gun right. It's hard to explain where that needs to be, but I'm gonna. Need to have it a little bit looser. Yeah, way looser. Just want to be able to have it loose enough so you can you'll actually be able to crush that thing. So put it back in hole. And then, yeah, it just needs to be a little bit looser. All right, here. I gotta get it looser. There we go. Man. Tighten it up a little bit. There it goes a little more. There it goes a little more. I can go maybe just a bit more on it. Alright, that's all the way. So when you can't crush it anymore, it's done, I guess. Pull it out and it's anchored in there. Awesome. So hopefully that made some kind of sense to you. I know it's kind of hard to explain and probably hard to see, but I really recommend that stuff for you need a solid way to mount something. Like I said, on the boat, it's held up great and it's super strong. And I think mounting the seats and the trolling motor is one of the hardest parts on the John boats when you're building those John boats. So that's why I wanted to show it to you, because a lot of people didn't realize. They thought I may have riveted those things down. It's really not strong enough for pop rivets. They're not strong enough. You need either to bolt it down somehow, but that's why these things are great on the John boat seats, because a lot of times you don't have access to get an actual nut underneath there and then underneath the decking. So these are good. You don't have to have access. You just need to drill a hole and anchor this thing in there and you're good to go. I need to get a different screwdriver, but they provide a way to lock that thing down, and that's why they're so nice. You don't have to get underneath the van. Super strong. It's awesome. The reason I'm putting this L brackets on here is because I wanted to mount a second hose reel on top. It's a little bit smaller one than this one, but I'm building a little cage and just so I can stack them to save space. So anyway, you know, the hose reel's in there, anchored. I'm still working on this cage, and the van's not done, of course, but this thing is set in there real solid. And I know that's not a great description of how to use that thing, but if you have any questions about how to use it, you can, you know, message me or something like that, or comment, and I'll try to answer them. But I really recommend using those things, the Rivnut tool. It's really awesome. So thanks for watching the video.